Hello and welcome to Creativity with DA3 Live. I'm your host, Don Allen III, and today what we're going to be working on is trying to sculpt Thanos. If you see around me, I have all these mood boards of different side views, cartoon views of the Marvel character Thanos. Now he's going to be the new villain, I believe, in the new upcoming Avengers movie. And so what we're going to do here on live on YouTube and live on Instagram is we're going to try to sculpt in this program called Oculus Medium. It might be the perfect use to try to sculpt the face. So join me as we are here live. We are going to sculpt this guy. And I think it's going to be pretty fun. So let's get going. All right, welcome. For those of you watching on Instagram, I would encourage you to watch on YouTube. Okay. Let me grab my other hand controller, and I think we are live streaming. So I just learned that you could bring in reference images, so I can like literally bring in these images, scale them up to any size that I need, and then just place them around the scene so I know what's going on. And we can move them around. We don't need to see like all that gray space. We can kind of just, you know, maximize that there. Cool. All right, so I've kind of set up the space here. Wish you could see it better on Instagram, but we are, we just set up the space so that we are ready to kind of sculpt in virtual reality. A whole nother reality where you can make it your own world. Really, make it whatever you want to be. Okay. Cool, I'm just doing a quick sound check over here. All right, let's get to it. So we're going to start off with a brand new layer, and we'll just call this our, I don't know, how do I rename? There we go. Let's rename this. I'm going to readjust my goggles a little bit, make it a little bit more sharp image. We'll just call this backspace, main image model, enter. Okay, cool. So we're in our main image model. I have a sphere right here, and I'm going to turn on mirroring so that whatever we draw on one side happens on the other. I guess my mirror got flipped around though. Okay, so I want to start off maybe with his face, and then maybe make a helmet afterwards, or not sure exactly. We'll see. So I like to start off with the sphere, because he's got a very bulbous kind of head shape. And then let's move to a grab tool. Where is it? Or move tool, sorry, they call it move. Everything has a different name for this. And we're gonna kind of just pull on the geometry. Oh wait, that's move. I want to actually grab. Where's play? Huh. All right. Let's go back to that clay brush. Flip this guy. I'm gonna make the brush a little bit smaller and kind of just add some more material to that chin right here. Yeah, I'm gonna probably give him a little nose to start off with. Now I call this early phase that we're in right now is called blocking, and it's when we essentially start to kind of block out general shapes that are going to become important later on in the mesh. And you see I'm just kind of referencing these different images here. We're going to kind of work right now with the front view that we have going on. Let's give him a little bit more of cheekbones. Kind of has like kind of puffy cheeks in the Marvel universe here. All right, kind of just add a little bit of mass to his face here. And let's grab our move tool. And I might shrink it down a little bit. There we go. And kind of widen out the face a little bit. Scrunch the nose in. Okay. Okay. It's a very rough shape, but it's coming out. I'm going to reduce that brush size and kind of just grab just these cheeks, make them a little bit wider. Then let's reference his form in the Marvel movie. He kind of has a more human-like characteristic to him, and humans have generally smaller noses than animated characters. I'm going to go ahead back to that clay brush and just add a little bit of mass to the nose. Just a little bit of mass to the nose. and then give a little bit of a bridge as well. And we have symmetry turned on so that whatever you know, we're in an early phase, so we want things to look kind of consistent and similar throughout. So that's kind of what we're doing right here. Oops, what's going on? All right, so we're still in, yeah, our main model here. What's also cool about this app is the ability to subtract material. So we can actually carve out those shapes in his eyes, just kind of like, you know, just tapping away. This is like the inverse of that first shape, and it helps us to kind of create. And we can also, you know, zoom into his face if we're starting to get into details. It's a little early to do details, but I like to kind of just see what the potential is first. Okay, so we're kind of just carving out different shapes here. Cheekbones, nostril-y looking thingies. Ooh, too much. And we'll go back over this with a smoother in a minute. You can guarantee that. Go to our move tool. I'm going to grab his nose a little bit. Wow, this brush is a really sensitive one. Okay, I'm kind of just adjusting his nose here. Actually, we want to bring his nose up higher and shrink it down. There we go. Let's bring it back down. Looks kind of like an angry skull face. Let's go back to our subtraction tool in our clay brush. And we'll just kind of, you know, make this larger and subtract a little bit out of those cheekbones here. Just get rid of some of those polygons that are going to be necessary to see the depth of our character's face. He kind of has like little chin dimples or something, so we're going to kind of just carve in there. Now let's do this. We go to our smoother brush, and I have it already as my default, so when I hold the trigger on here, it changes to the smooth brush really quickly. And this is going to be great for kind of just smoothing out geometry that gets kind of chopped up when we carve out parts of his face. So in this case, I kind of just want to smooth out some of that geometry. Not too much though, just a little bit on his chin. And then we'll use that move tool on the mouth, on that lower lip here. And we'll just move our lower lip up a tad. You know, the goal being so that we can see things a little bit better. Hey, what's up, Garrett? We are live on YouTube, and we are sculpting out this character. All right, so we got our move tool, and I'm just kind of extend this brush out. It's a very large brush. I'm trying to make it not, it's like jumping. I don't want it to jump so quickly to such a large scale. Let's see if there's any settings we can affect. The strength, let's reduce the strength. There we go. Oh, there we go, that's much better. And then we can also reduce the, or increase the outer radius so that they're almost the same size. There we go. So this kind of just allows us to move isolated parts of our geometry. Whoa. Ah! It's very sensitive, okay. Alright, so kind of, now let's turn the side view of our character here and look at some of the side views that we have of our model. One thing we're going to notice is that his upper lip comes out more, and we definitely need to give his upper lip more mass. So let's kind of just pull on this upper lip, kind of giving him these luscious lips, and we're going to move the nose out and up in parts, and we'll kind of just push it around. Alright, so I'm just going ahead and moving in here, moving right along, kind of furrowing his eyebrows a bit. Let's start to cut out his mouth a little bit more. So I'm going to use the cut tool. Oh no, I guess we can use our clay tool, and we'll just kind of make a little bit more of a lip. Oops, we're on subtract. Make sure we're adding to that lip. There we go. Upper lip as well. Cool. Looks a little ridiculous right now, so I'm just going to smooth it out a bit. Alright, there we go. Then we're going to take that same clay brush. I'm actually going to subtract material from underneath his nose. So if we go around here and reduce the brush size, check this out on YouTube, folks. It's important to kind of subtract, and we're getting those nostrils now. Because he's got a very human, THANOS has a very human-like expression in this new Marvel movie for whatever reason. And we need to make sure that we're staying kind of consistent with what people will think of when they think of THANOS. And I'm kind of just drawing onto his nose right here. Let's give it a little bit more of a pointiness to it. Just kind of adding a little bit of mass to that nose, then we can just smooth it out. Now the smoothing is a little bit too fast, so we're going to go into the settings for smooth and reduce the strength of smoothing down quite a bit. There we go. So now it's much more subtle when it smooths. It won't just jump to like 100% smoothing, which we don't want. Alright, so I'm going to subtract more material from his inner eyes here. Alright, so we're like reaching in and out of his skull right here. We have this eyeball here and it's mirroring on both sides so we can keep seeing his face. Cool. I'm also going to kind of get rid of some material right here around the lips. Alright. Let's take a look back at our earlier reference image over here. We notice that THANOS' eyes are much smaller, so we're going to go to our move tool and just move down his eyebrows so that it creates these kind of smaller openings for us to actually see his eyes. And this is helpful for lots of reasons, but the main one is just so that it looks more consistent with how Marvel depicts this character. Alright, so we kind of just made the eye holes a little bit smaller here. I'm just moving it with my left hand and then adjusting with my right hand to kind of push things in and out. While we're here, let's go ahead and just save what we have. It's a good process to just remember to save things. So let's do a quick save. I'm going to erase this naming convention. I don't know why it puts that here. It's too much information. Backspace, 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 backspace. Alright, we'll call this THANOS. THANOS. Enter. Cool. Alright, so we got THANOS. Rough face here. I think his cheekbones are a little bit too massive, so I'm actually going to bring his cheeks in a little bit. Just a tad. So we're kind of just changing that sensitivity here. And just going to make sure that we grab our THANOS. Put him right about here. THANOS head. Let's move his lips down a little bit. Alright, I'm just kind of pulling on his front part of his cheeks here and then flattening it out a little bit. I love that flatten brush. I gotta say, that's like my favorite thing. Now we don't have to worry too much about his skull because we're going to be covering his skull with a really cool helmet later on. So don't worry about that. It might look weird, but you know, I know that I'm covering that up so people don't have to see how actually jacked up the head might become. Alright, let's scale his head to a giant size and then let's subtract material. Again, we're just kind of refining that nose. If we make a tiny little opening here, we can kind of get into those nostrils. Alright, we're just kind of cutting out those eyes right here, giving it some nice breathability. Just kind of cutting inside there, just kind of getting rid of that material. Yeah, we're just kind of cutting the face. Alright, let's get into that mouth now and kind of work on it a bit. So his mouth has a very sunken in shape to it. So I'm just gonna kind of just smooth out the upper, bottom and upper lower lip. So now he's kind of got an open mouth expression. And then we're gonna use our move tool to kind of move down that mouth so that it's a little bit closed. And I'm just gonna move up our lower lip to kind of meet it so that we get a nice little bridge here. So the lips kind of are pursed together. There we go. He has a creepy smile now. It's very disturbing what I'm seeing. It's this giant, creepy smiling head. Don't like it. For the creepiness factor. Alright, so let's look back at THANOS' face. He's got a lot of bags under his eyes, but this is just a rough model of a face. Thanos is a purple character, so actually I'm gonna make his eyes even smaller. Looking at his eyes now, I'm noticing that they are tinier than I expected. I haven't used the inflate tool. Oh wow, they have a deflate tool. Sick. Oh wait, no, that did the exact opposite of what I was hoping. Oh, that's creepy. Oh god. I don't like this tool so far. Oh man. I have no idea what it's doing. Okay, so this tool works well when it's in a very small surface area. If you get it too wide, it starts to really damage your image. Oh, actually, I kind of like it now. Alright, so you can use it to create sharp curves into your mesh. So it would have been a great tool to use to make the lips. Cool. And I'm just kind of, you know, smoothing out those eye holes. Let's make his nose a little bit bigger, a little bit wider at the base, a little bit narrower at that bridge. Let's pull the eyes together a little bit. Move his eyebrows down. I need to bring the model over here. We're getting too close to the edge of our safe zone. Dun, 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 dun. I'm just making his eyes a little bit creepier, a little bit tinier in there, and more sunken in for this character to kind of give him that menacing look. He's a bad guy, apparently. I haven't seen the movie yet, but the trailer paints him as a bad guy. Alright, what does this do? Alright, so there's no opposite thing of move tool. Alright, we got our clay brush. Again, I'm just going to subtract some material out. And we'll just smooth it out. Whoa, it's glowing. Face is glowing. Alright, just keep carving the nose. There we go. Alright, kind of just carving it and then holding that trigger to smooth. Just a little subtle smooth tap on the smoothness. I don't know why he's smiling. He's definitely not smiling in any of my reference images, so I want to turn his frown upside down, or his smile. I want to turn this around. So let's move our mouth. The parts that make it happy are those cheeks. So we're going to move those cheeks in and down to make them not smiling. There he goes. Now he looks really sad. Now he looks a little derpy. Alright, let's give him a little bit more anger in his eyes. How we can do that? Easy. We're going to move the corners of his eyes up and then the inner corners down. And this kind of creates the furrowing of a brow, the anger to come. Alright, now he looks more like serious or disappointed, something in the middle. And then I'm just going to keep adding some mass. Go to that inflate tool. I actually did like that inflate tool actually after all. And we double tap to add some material. And we're just going to kind of draw some furrowing eyebrow mass above his eyes here. Okay. Cool. Alright, we kind of roughened up his face a little bit, which I think works here. I'm not sure what this tool does. It looks like a blade of some sort. Oh wow, it kind of cuts out, it kind of just cuts into the material. Huh. Alright, let's get inside of the face and just kind of carve out some of that mouth here. Alright, so now we're inside the mouth of the character now, and we're just kind of subtracting geometry out from inside the face. I guess this isn't really necessary because this isn't really going to be seen by our viewer, but it's cool to know that it can do that if for some weird reason we needed to do that. All right, I don't know what that was about. Let's kind of just move the mouth in. And I'm going to move this jaw in. We're going to just kind of smooth out those cheekbones here. Well, I gotta say, it's just a really creepy face. I'm going to widen it. I had to go back a lot of steps. I think we went wrong somewhere. I wasn't getting a good idea of the size of his head. Okay. Go ahead and into the clay brush. And this time we'll be a little bit more serious about subtracting material. There we go. Alright, so I just subtracted some stuff inside of his face. Oh wow, that's creepy. Don't do that. Alright, let's go to the side view. Let's kind of give him a little bit more of a chin, and then erase extra mass that we don't need. So kind of just smoothing out the bottom of the chin here. Made it a little bit too lumpy chin. Alright, we smoothed out the chin now. Looks much more tame. Tame chin, whatever that means. Alright, give him a little bit more of a indent for the lower lip. It felt like we needed it. Now we'll go to that move tool, reduce the radius, increase the massive size of this model, and just tap up, and we'll move that lower lip out a little bit. Okay, cool. Alright, I actually kind of like the way this model is coming out now. So again, that means it's time to save. Quick save. Alright, cool. Alright, so let's say this is kind of roughly, we're gonna do all the intensive details inside of Cinema 4D, but I like the idea of doing a rough sculpture inside of a 3D program where all you really see around you is your model, and it helps to kind of get an idea of the scale that you're going for. At least for me, I think this kind of helps streamline the process, even though we're not gonna, at least for this model, we're not going to be ending in virtual reality. We're just kind of starting there. I'm just carving out that nose again. For some reason, those nostrils just don't want to stay put. Alright, kind of just get rid of some of those. And smooth it out. Great. Let's get back in there with the nostrils and kind of just carve out those nostril holes. Nostrils. The nostrils. Great. Go ahead and give him a little bit of a bumpy nose. There we go. There he is. That's a rough model of Thanos. And we did it all inside of Oculus Medium. Cool. Looking at some reference images. Actually, his nose is a little too tilted up. Let's give him a little bit more of a snarly face. So I'm going to just kind of... excuse me. Let's use the swirl tool. Oh my god. Alright, don't use the swirl tool. That just like destroyed the model in like a millisecond. Alright, this might be a good time to what do you call it? Can't remember what I was going with this. Oh, good time to subdivide our polygons so that we get more detail. So we just did a quick save, so I'm going to go back to our layers, and we're going to just do this increase resolution thing. So it takes a few seconds if you increase resolution, but the result is we get a lot more polygons to work with. So it makes sense if you're starting to, if you're getting to the part where you're starting to do more details, you're going to need to have more polygons to work with. Otherwise, you're not doing yourself a favor. Oh no, the model's not mirrored anymore. Okay, it's mirrored now. I don't know what happened. Got to be careful. All right, so yeah, so it's totally mirrored. So I'm not going to move it this time. I'm just going to increase the resolution. I'm going to increase it again, so it's back to... Oh, okay, that one took some time. All right, so now we have a much higher polygon count for our mesh. It definitely looks like a face. It's creepy. It's creepy looking, I'll tell you that. And let me see if we keep it placed here. Yes, our symmetry tool is still working now. So we're going to kind of, again, subtract out of our nostril region. Now we get, you know, we get much more details here. So I'm actually going to reference that one. I don't know what this is called, but that space right above someone's lip, but below their nose. I don't know what that's called, but we needed to add that. We are adding polygons. If you want to hear this music, you can listen to it with me on YouTube, because that's where we're at. So what I'm doing now is I'm jumping back and forth between the clay brush and the smooth brush. So we're just adding material and then smoothing it out. Soon we'll be getting to the helmet, and then once we have our helmet, we'll bring this into Cinema 4D where we will go crazy. I'm probably not doing the music justice. It is good music though, I promise. Alright, we got our move tool. This one's going to be a little bit bigger calculation because there's a lot more polygons when we move. So I'm just going to move it very gently so we don't overload the machine. Just very gentle, widening out his chin. Yeah, much more lumpier now, but more of this style. And we're going to smooth out that transition on his jawline. We're just smoothing out the jaw. I'm going to switch it to a flatten brush, or sorry, a fill brush. So we're kind of just filling in that geometry so that it'll make it a more flatter chin here. It's cool how it applies on like almost like a spray paint. Alright, let's continue on. What are we looking at? Oh yeah, so smoothing out that chin. Let's go ahead and add some material. I'm just adding little bits of material here and there. I'm going to give them a little bit of a, I don't know any of the terms of things I talk about here right now. Whatever that is, we needed it. I think it would be helpful if I took like another anatomy class, like back when I was in school, because if you had more of an understanding of human anatomy, or at least if, you know, when it comes to sculpting, it would probably make you a better sculptor because you would know like where things just need to be because they belong there physically. I don't really know these things, so I'm heavily relying on the internet and just like kind of mimicking visuals I see. Again, let's do another quick save. I always get nervous when the polygons start increasing a lot because then, you know, well, I mean, this is the new machine, so it's quick save. All right, here we go. Right back to it. Let's give him a little bit more mass buildup on these cheekbones here. And then we'll smooth it out with our smooth brush. Yeah. And then I'm going to subtract some material from his cheeks here. And then again, smooth it out. What's nice about this character to work with is that he's got a lumpy face, and so it won't look like I'm making lots of mistakes. Rather, it will just look like appropriate character design. It's all about your perspective. All right, so he has a lot of lines on his face, and so we kind of just make those lines, and then we smooth them out with our smooth spray paint tool. I'm actually going to increase the strength quite a bit now. There we go. Yeah, smooth it. And then we'll kind of just keep, doing little dabs, little subtractions from the geometry, and then smoothing them back out. Sweet, it's looking much more Thanos-y. Looking like Thanos. What's up? Let's get rid of that. We don't need those. Smooth out the lip. All right, what else do we need? Oh, he's got lots of bags under his eyes, so we should make baggy eyes. There we go. So I kind of go in here with the sphere and kind of just add some mass really close to the current edge, and so this kind of creates. Actually, what are we doing? We can get inside the head, and we can just kind of add material in here, and then we can subtract the excess out. We don't need all this. I just want an eyelid. And then we again smooth it out. Oh yeah. Oh, actually that was too smooth. Smooth this out. Alright, cool. So we kind of just have an eyelid right in here now. Nice. Eyelids are going to be important for this character because they make things more real. A lot of animals and humans happen to have flesh around their eye. It's not just their skull that we have to worry about when sculpting. Alright, so we're going to add an upper eyelid as well, so I'm kind of just getting it in here nice and personal with the mesh. And we'll subtract this out. We don't need all this. We just want a thin buildup of material. There we go. Oops, we just cut a hole through his brain. Not going to be a good day for Thanos. Alright, let's smooth that out. We're inside the eyeball. Let's just smooth it out. Smoothing out all that geometry. Ain't nothing wrong with smoothing out the geometry. Okay, there we go. So now we got some eyelids. And these will give him more personality. And that's kind of the goal. Let's get right back in there and just kind of subtract these things. What's cool with modeling in 3D is how fast you can jump to, big changes to small little details just by moving your hands together. I mean, that's way faster than any shortcut that they have. All right, let's decrease our tool quite a bit and just start creating little lines on his face. This will make more sense later, but if you look at the model that I'm referencing, he's got a lot of lines that kind of carve out of his face. It's almost like he's made of some kind of tree, like Groot or something. Groot might be a fun character to sculpt in here one day. Alright, so I'm just kind of do that, and then we'll just smooth it out a little bit, not a lot. So I'm going to reduce the strength like 23%. Just kind of tap smooth. We want those lines. Alright, cool. Same idea up here. We're gonna make those creases on his face. On the Marvel comic, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He has 9 of those, and then on here they have a lot more. So I guess we'll kind of just play it by ear. Let's zoom in and just shave off little lines into the face of our character. This is kind of like this is another sculpting tool, so we're kind of just scraping off the material from the face So when we zoom out, we kind of get left with this, and then we have our smoother brush. I kind of just tap to smooth a few of these out so that it's not too sharp. But wait, there's more. He's got those creases along these eyes here as well. So we're gonna go ahead and just increase that, reduce our brush size, and kind of just carve out. Alright, so we might need to increase our polygon count. If you start seeing your polygons tear like they just did right there, that's a good sign that you're adding too much detail in the polygon count that you're in. So that is the one limit with these things, is you have to kind of work within your limit. Alright, we're inside the nostril again. We're just kind of carving it out. Let's go to a side view of the character. Let's get rid of a big chunk of this nose. There we go. So this kind of sharpens up his nose a little bit. And then we can smooth that out. Oh, yes! Alright! Thanos face. Look at that gnarly nose. Alright, let's kind of smooth out the bridge. Now I've laid his face kind of flat on the table. I'm going to add a little bit of material to the nose here. Great, and we're going to smooth it out. So I'm looking at his render on the screen here, and his nose is much flatter than I had it. I kind of gave it like a roundingness to it. Alright, subtract, there's a little ugly bump on the nose that he doesn't have in the character. So we're kind of just tapping to remove that, and then we'll smooth out the difference. Whoa. It's like a mountain of snow. We're going to go ahead and smooth out the nose here. Cool, smooth nose. Alright. Thanos, how you doing, bro? Great. Great to have you, Thanos. Alright, let's give him some more creases along those eyes here as well. He's got some nasty creases. Great, let's kind of carve those out, and then we can, you know it, smooth it. We're going to smooth out the brush here. And kind of just smooth out around the eyeballs. And if we go further away with the smoother tool, what we get is this kind of smoothing effect. Uh-oh, I just clicked somewhere. There we go. I'm going to go back. I think I missed something. Okay, cool. The symmetry is still turned on. That's what I was scared. I thought we lost our symmetry again. But yeah, when you go further away with the smoother tool, it affects the smoothness of a wider area. Which is really, really neat. For me, I love that. Love the ability to manipulate the geometry of this character. Alright, let's kind of shave away some more details from his nose here, and then smooth them out. Cool, I might have went a little too intense up here with the carve out. Gonna make sure your eyebrows are fleek. Okay. Cool. Thanos, how you doing? Cool. So we have him in an open mouth state. I think that's fine. You know, I'll just keep him with an open mouth state. Let's go ahead and zoom back in here and carve a little bit more out of these cheeks here, and then smooth it out. Alright, and then he also has a big cutout here. Oh, actually, we kind of already got that. I guess we can try it again on this side. This really does feel like you're working with clay. I'm not kidding. And it's as if the clay was extremely malleable, but also held firm. So that as soon as you stopped interacting with the clay, you had no fear that you would lose your mesh. It reminds me of playing with Play-Doh if it had kind of a more solid feel to it. Like, this thing feels very rigid, even though it's malleable. I don't know, I guess that's kind of contradicts what I just said. Cool, Thanos, you're doing great, bro. Just hang in there. We're gonna give you some wrinkles around the corners of your eyes. So I do anticipate that these eyes are gonna be the part that I spend the most time with when we're in our next 3D program. And so, you know, I just want to spend a little bit more time in these eyes because they're going to be a focus of where the viewer kind of sees this character. And I do want them to look a little bit older, so we're going to kind of just add these wrinkly thingies. And then we're going to smooth out the wrinkles. There we go, look at that. Ooh, looks like he's decaying a little bit. And that's okay. Alright, cool. Thanos, you're doing great. He's like, yeah. Yeah, okay. It's Thanos. Let's check on Instagram or YouTube, see how we're doing. Alright, still working on the live stream. Alright, hello, V's. Oh, well, I guess they left already. Alright, let's grab our model here. Wow, I like this. Oh, whoa, what happened here? Let's smooth out that. Cool. Let's do a quick save. Alright, let's go ahead and move the camera around here. So what we're working on right now is a live stream, and we are sculpting Thanos. I saw his face the first time on the new Marvel movie trailer, and I'm gonna go ahead and rotate this camera here so you can see what I'm seeing. And what we're seeing here is Thanos. Oops, kind of widen the shot a little bit. Okay, so now you're seeing what I'm seeing. So what we've been working on this past hour is this sculpture of this head, and we're referencing Thanos. So I have reference images all around. We have some of him sitting with some like asteroid looking things behind him. We have this one that's just straight out of the Marvel movie. We have some old school ones where he's like a little bit meaner. It looks like he has a dead Spider-Man and a dead Hulk in his hands. And this one where he's in a fighting pose. And so what we're first working on is just the geometry of the face. And then we're going to move into the helmet, and then we'll move into Cinema 4D. But that's kind of just giving you an idea of where we are at right now. Alright, so let's continue. So I have the subtraction tool, and I'm just subtracting little scars and little cutouts into his face, kind of like I see in the Marvel comic. So I'm going to make his cheek real big and kind of just carve out a little bit of destruction here. And then we smooth it out a little bit, just to create a little bit of variation. I'm going to temporarily turn off the mirroring, just so we can create an actual difference of the face. So this side will only have this scar. And then, you know, it is important to break symmetry every once in a while. It does make things look more real if things aren't perfectly symmetrical, because it just so happens that in real life things aren't always that symmetrical, and that's okay. That's life. That is life. We can live in a life without perfect symmetry. Cool. I'm just gonna add a few more scarring thingies to his nose here. Looks like he has some kind of cutouts. And kind of smooth those out. It's kind of like working on a meteor face. Let's turn back on our mirroring. Cool. I just wanted to try that out for a minute. I'm not working on his forehead because we're not seeing his forehead in this model. I'm just working on the parts that we see, because that's really all that matters here. Smoothing out these holes. Smooth them out. Gotta love this smoothing tool. It's the greatest. Let's add some material back into there. Smooth it out. You can always add and subtract, so it's always nice to kind of layer things on top of each other. Kind of makes things come a little bit more to life. THANOS. Alright, he looks pretty mean right here. I can't wait to give him some glowing red eyes. That one, his lips are pierced together a little bit more. And it looks like these lines go all the way up to his face. So let's increase the face size and then kind of just carve out these lines. Whoa, what happened? Oh, there we go. Let's carve these lines out. Yikes. Alright, so kind of just carve these little lines out and then we'll smooth that out. Alright, looking back at his reference image, he's got a couple of scars. He's a pretty deep cut over here. Oh wait, but it's not on both sides, so let's temporarily turn off the mirroring and just kind of give him a scar over here. And then we kind of add some mask back in and then we smooth that out. Too smooth. Oops. Okay. Cool. Just give him a little bit of variation. I mean, for the most part, the character looks pretty symmetrical. Oh. Uh-oh. I think we might have messed up the mirroring. Oh, no, we didn't. Alright, we're good. Let's get rid of that. Cool. Alright, looking back at the side view, I guess he has a little bit more of a lower lip, so I'm going to give him a little bit more lip mass. I do have a lot of troubles on sculpting lips. Always have. So, because it's something I struggle with, I find it even more important to practice and to not give up. I am pretty convinced that with enough time and patience, you can learn just about anything. I mean, I learned most of this stuff just by watching videos on YouTube like this. Alright, let's make this face giant. Just kind of adding some volume to those lips. They kind of look like they're burnt a little bit. Watch this, we're going to see him inside of his face. Ah! Okay. In all seriousness, though, actually, that kind of looks a little bit better. I'm going to smooth out his cheek, though. Cool. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. What's the bottom of his chin looking like? Okay, I think we can work on the helmet now. So let's make a new layer. Going down here, going to a new layer. Rename that layer. We'll call this helmet H-E. Oh, actually, let's clear everything. H-E-L-M-E-T. Now, the next program that we're going to be bringing this into will recognize these layers. Oh, crap. Here we go. Let's lock the helmet and the body together so that if we move the body, it's also going to move the helmet. Just to check if that, let's say this was our helmet. Let's see what happens. Okay, cool. So if we move the head, we also move this piece. All right, so for the helmet, we're going to go about this a little bit differently. I'm going to first off and look at what the main blocking shapes are. So in the old classic, we kind of got this panel, this flat kind of circle that goes around the top of the head. The newer one does this ellipses kind of triangle thing. So I guess we can try to do something along those lines. So I'm going to make this a giant sphere, and we're going to find out this perfect spot that we can come in here to make that line. Okay, actually, let's turn off our mirroring for a second. And so I'm going to do one line that kind of meets in right about here. Or actually, we'll have it come in over here. Alright, it's going to look weird first, I know. Then what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate that layer. we're going to duplicate that layer and slide it over here so that they intersect. Then we're going to actually take the intersection of these two layers. So if we grab our two layers here and we do intersection, it's going to grab the amount of material that divides the two. And so we can use this to kind of emulate that shape that we see up there. Alright, so I'm going to place that kind of roughly here for now. Great. Or I'm just going to place it a little bit better. Cool. Then we're going to duplicate that layer. We're going to grab this one and also kind of give it this little angle to it over here. And then I'm going to duplicate, you guessed it, that first one again. And we're going to place that one over here as well. Alright, so then what we'll do is we'll grab all three of these layers by selecting them. And then we will merge. Where are they? Where's merge? Hello, there's merge. Cool, so now these are considered one object. So next we need a sphere, so let's go ahead and create a new layer. And we'll go in with a big old sphere. And it'll be about the size of a skull, just trying to get it a little bit larger than a skull actually. I missed. Try that again. 1, 2, and 3. That kind of works. And then we're just gonna go to the move tool. Oh, can't move it. What's going on? Oh, there we go. All right, so I'm just kind of moving this in a weird way. I'm looking at the shapes that I see on the screen. I wish I could just, this is one spot where I wish I could use like a keyboard to move this just a few pixels forward. So doing kind of super precise work may not be the best, this might not be the best program for that. In fact, I'm even getting just kind of regrets about going about the helmet in this part of the program, because these are going to look kind of messy and janky, and that's not going to look correct. So let me go back a few steps. And actually, let's just hide this layer, hide that layer. We might need to use a completely different program, which is okay. Mirror. Oh yeah, so we got our mirroring still. Alright, well, we pretty much have Thanos' head. And that's that's the hard part. And that's pretty much done. I might just maybe move his nose in a little bit. No, I kind of screwed things up. Alright, we're going to leave that. Ah! Wah! 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 Okay, enough silliness. We got some kind of face. Looks kind of like Thanos, right? Thanos-y? Thanos look-alike? Thanos friend? Okay. Cool. And I'll just give him glowing red eyes. Whatever. There's a different program that we might want to use for the helmet, so let's do that. Again, I'm going to go back and do a quick save. And I'm also going to export this one. Full resolution, vertex colors, doesn't matter. I just want an OBJ file, will be great. Export. Give that a few seconds. So this is now exporting the 3D model in a format that is readable by other 3D programs, which is super crucial. Alright, so that pretty much is it for the FaceTime part. Now we're going to move into making the Thanos helmet, and I'm going to attempt to use a new program that I've never actually tried for this purpose right now. So let's go Google Blocks. Error occurred. Running multiple apps at once may cause performance issues. Please close the current app before open. Okay. Fair enough. How do I close it? Clicking buttons. Clicking buttons. Clicking another button. What is that? Nope. These don't look like... Maybe close it like... that? No? I don't know how to close things. Home. quit the app now, you already have VR app open. If you quit now, you may lose the unsaved. It's canceled. This is saved, right? Let me check my desktop real quick. Oculus desktop. Cool. Minimize that. It's the music we're listening to. Where does it save this file? Medium. Sculpts. DA3. Stormtrooper. Today's the 19th. THANOS. Come on. No! Ah! I was so close. Let's try that again. Oh, cool. So the OBJ file is saved, so we can close this program. Oh my god, I could have done this to been viewing comments. Didn't think about that until right now. So there is a way to read comments in VR. Sick. This is good to know for the future. Wow, I could just have the desktop. This is crazy. Okay. Let's get out of here. And then close this. Quit app. Alright, we are in a void. There is nothing here. Oh, there's my hands. Cool. Alright, back in my home, chilling. Whew.
Who are unhappy with their chosen career.
Let's see if Google Blocks can be opened.
And we got to
Library.
this.
Google Blocks, please. There it is. Google Blocks is more, I think it's more geared towards this kind of stuff. Whoa. Oh wow, very different palette. Can I bring in reference images, hopefully? Maybe? We're learning.
You know, and we got to do this.
Oh wow, add reference image. Take your headset off to pick a reference image. Okay, let me take this headset off real quick. Hello, YouTube. Oh. Huh. I'm not sure how this works. Oh. Okay, so that hopefully fixes one thing, but then creates a whole host of new problems. Okay. So, alright, so that's live streaming, but now I don't know how to bring images into this program yet. How do you add images? Let's try this again. It just says take your headset controller off to add image. Oh, there it is. Let's add images from our medium folder that were inside of our import reference images. I just need this side of THANOS' helmet. Open that one. Does that work? Oh wow, that is the image. Oh wow, that's cool. I don't need all these versions though. Why is there so many of these? Oh no, it made an instance for every one of them. Go away, Thanos. Oh no. There's Thanoses everywhere. Let's get rid of these. We don't need all these. Okay. I don't know how to get rid of them. Alright, I'm gonna add one more reference image. Okay, so we got Thanos is everywhere. Alright, sorry about the confusion, folks. I'm not too familiar with the Google Blocks program yet. But, you know, this is, again, how I learn, is just like this. You can't erase individual polygons. How do you do this thing?
Game ain't gotta be played like that, yo.
Yikes, I thought I could erase polygons. Well, this changes everything. Alright, I don't know if I can use this program to make the helmet. After all that, yeah, I don't understand. I mean, the only thing I could do would be like to draw it. Okay. I think it's gonna do this part in Cinema 4D. So the tutorial switches around again.